Hey gang, Jason here, and I wanted to kind of introduce this video. So this is another how-to video, and we're doing gravel. This video is a little bit lengthy, and I've edited it down quite a bit. The parts where I'm kind of just doing some work, I've sped up. So hopefully you've got time, but honestly, there's some good information here, and this is the simplest part probably of everything we're ever going to do on this display. So in my opinion, this is where you start. After you got your layout done, after you've got, all that figured out, where everything's going, then I always lay gravel first, and then I come through and lay my vegetation after that. So, with that said, here's the video. Alright gang, so we're going to put down some gravel today. So I'll show you how to do that. I am going to use, for the gravel around the shop area, I'm going to use Woodland Scenics Fine Ballast Gray Blend. So here's what that looks like, kind of spilled out. Oops, spilled out. I just like the look of it. It kind of looks like gravel you'd get around here. So that's the idea. It looks like gravel you would get around here after it's been on the ground a while. So anyway, so a couple things. I painted too much concrete here, so most of this is going to go away. There's going to be a little pad here for fuel tanks, and there's going to be a little pad here that's kind of like a power washing area, I guess. The rest of that's going away. This stays. That is sort of the apron for the front of this shop. Some of this may go away. I'm not for sure yet, but we'll see. So that means this is going to be grass, gravel. And so I've obviously got to move some of this. We're going to paint, where it's close to the concrete, I'm going to paint with grays, that gray and dolphin gray. That way, if it's not, as you can see, you can kind of see through in a couple spots. That way it sort of looks like packed dirt instead of mud and so on and so forth. But then out here along the edges, we're going to go with a chestnut brown and a melted chocolate a little bit, just to, so this gravel will be a little thinner out here, and maybe we'll have some tire tracks and things like that. I'll kind of show you guys how that works later. And then the gravel for the farm, the shop area, is going to extend all the way over to the shed, and then right to about where that press and seal box is. After that, it's going to turn into a different type of gravel because it's more of a township road versus upkeep by the farm. So anyway, and then so that area under there is going to kind of get mostly brown paint under it, because that is going to look like the tractors are in and out of there. There's going to be tracks. There's going to be a few weeds here and there, things like that. So alright, guess it's time to get painting. Okay guys, so now I'm over here to the shed. Now, so a couple things. You can see I've got these arrows here. So this is where I think the tracks, and I'm going to use mostly track tractors, so I'm using this Quad Track 440 as a reference. That's where I think the tracks are going to come and go the most. Now you can see here I've got 8 because I'm thinking maybe we've got a 2-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive tractor there with dual. So just kind of keeping our options open, and I'll kind of show you what I plan to do with that. Let me kind of do a little rearranging here. I guess should have done that before we started. Okay, so I'm just coming back in here again with my dark gray. And I'm going to keep, so this is kind of the area, so you can see here is the entrance to the shed. So this is kind of the area in front of the shed, and we're just going to keep that dark gray. I'm kind of keeping my lines going with how I think the tractors are going to move. just because if we do end up showing, if we do, how do I want to word this? If we have some wear areas, track areas and stuff like that, maybe we want to make sure that anything you can see under that sort of lines up the way it should. Got to be careful here not to get it where, I mean, if I accidentally paint over some of the concrete for the shop, it's not the end of the world. We'll just repaint it, obviously. That's the great thing about this, is we can kind of do what we want. So there's more than one ways to skin a cat on this as far as that goes, but this is kind of the way I've learned how to do it over the years. I've been taught how to do it now. Okay, so here is, so now you can see I'm making those lanes. So where there's light traffic, I'm going to use the dark gray. Actually right there too. That whole area. Can go ahead and fill in now that we can kind of see every spot here. And then what I'll do is I'll come in here with my dark brown and my chestnut brown to kind of fill in that area. Back here, we are ready to start putting down some adhesive. So there's quite a few ways you can do this. You can use white glue, you can use Mod Podge, you can use matte medium. I'll be honest, so I'm using Mod Podge. We got like this giant container of it for a pretty reasonable price. I'm using the matte color, not glossy. You can use, you know, your Elmer's glue, if you will, or matte medium, whichever you choose. I'll grab here's what the container of matte medium looks like. I'll be honest, I think they all work the same. So my advice is to go with what is cheapest. So there you go. So there's a couple ways you can apply this. You can dilute and you can spray it on. Now the trouble with spraying it on is it's going to get on places you may not want it. Now that may not be a bad thing necessarily, but at least for me right now, I want this to be a little more controlled. So let me show you what I got going on here. So this darker gray area is my gravel. This is going to be grass, and then off over here is more gravel. I don't know if we'll get to that tonight or not. We'll see. But that's where we're at. So I'm just going to Mod Podge here. And you don't have to get super heavy with it. And remember, wherever you get this Mod Podge is where your gravel is going to stay. Now what we're going to do, and I'll show you this later, is we're going to put this down, we're going to sprinkle on our gravel, and then we will come through with a top coat that we will spray on of Mod Podge water mix, as well as a little isopropyl alcohol. You can also use dish soap. It just kind of helps break the tension of the water. But that's later. Like I said, I'll show you that step later. This stuff dries reasonably quick, so you don't want to work more than, say, 5 minutes ahead. You can probably work a little farther ahead than that, but you got to be kind of extra careful. I'm going to do, I don't know, we'll see if I like this in gravel or not. Yeah, and keep in mind, if you if you get this down and you don't like the way it looks, everything's changeable. So this can be scraped up relatively easy, and all you're out is some Mod Podge and whatever your gravel is going to be. Now, obviously you don't want to do it too much because gravel is going to get expensive if you do it too much, but for the most part, you just kind of chill here and put it down however you want. Now, when we sprinkle, it's gonna go, it's gonna go other places where we don't want it, but that's fine as long as it's not Mod Podged. We can easily vacuum that up. So here we go, putting down some gravel. So this comes with just a little sprinkle can. I know guys use sifters. I know guys that use a million other ways to do it. Honestly, just use what works best for you. You can grab your hand and sprinkle it on if that's what you like. Alright, I'm liking that. So the idea here is this Mod Podge will dry clear, and we'll have that nice dark gray base below. So it's going to look like basically a parking lot or drive that has been packed down over the years. And I'm going to go fairly light here with my gravel, because I don't want it humped up. I don't want like a big clump anywhere. So, like right there. Woo. I mean, the good thing is that that top layer can be brushed off once the bottom layer dries. That's what I like about this versus spraying, is you've got a little bit more room for error, in my opinion. So I'm going to leave it like so. There we go. And I want to show you. I'm going to bring you in here. Actually, you know what? You can see it pretty good through here. So these are some light areas, and I'm going to do some tire tracks and things in that later down the road. So that'll be in a different video. But anyway, that's the idea. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and knock out the rest of this real quick. But this video is getting long, so I doubt you guys want to see that. So I'll show you the final result. Alright gang, so here it is. I dribbled a little matte medium there, a little Mod Podge there. That's okay, that'll dry clear, not worried about it. So it looks messy as heck back there. That's okay, because the next step for us is we are going to vacuum this up. We're going to vacuum all that loose stuff and all of that, so that we're going to wait for this Mod Podge to dry. In fact, I'm probably just going to come in tomorrow and do the vacuuming. And I'll show you that part. And we'll get our nice crisp lines back, and we'll be ready to work on our shed, where our tractors go. And I'll show you guys that in a different video. So anyway, be back soon with the vacuum. Okay gang, so here it is, graveled and swept. So here is the pile I swept up. And you can see we got little pieces of plaster and stuff in there, but we can screen those out. But that's definitely too much just to leave sitting on there. It's just wasted gravel at that point. So you can see, remember I said I was going to go light in some areas. So see here, now this is why I was taking my paintbrush this way when I was painting and when I was Mod Podging, because I want these lines, like the equipment is coming here to this pad of concrete. Now, I've got more work to do here. I'll show you that in another video because we want to dress up that area more. Now it just looks like gray under some, rock. We're going to dress that up more, make it look good. Same thing back here. We're kind of just getting started there, and in fact, I will grab something and show you real quick. Alright, so check this out. I have been experimenting with flour and obviously some brown paint to try and get muddy texture And so this is good and dry. Check that out. Anyway, that, my friends, I don't know where to put that darn thing, but right there. That is what's going to end up back here. And then we'll probably have to put a little more gravel in and things like that. I mean, you know, whatever it's going to take to make it look good. But that is the reason for leaving the gravel off of those spots and for the texture that we've got going on there, the coloring we've got going on there. And then I'm going to figure out, I'm going to do the same thing here in a much more Spartan, you know, slighter way, because I don't want like big mud here. I just want the sort of illusion that I've got some tire tracks in there and a little, you know, some depression. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap up the graveling part of this video, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch all this together and put this up, and then I'll make separate videos for my mud recipe, also doing static grass. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Happy tractor hunting.